Joe, it's a real pleasure to have you here at
Thank you.
Playmore.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much for coming in this afternoon. Joe, of course, is your drummer with These Raining Days, and you're appearing at Yellowfest on the
That's it.
9th of May.
That's it.
Joe, just tell me a little bit about the band, if you want to just introduce your members and tell me how long you've been together.
Okay. We're, as you said, these raining days. We all, I say we're from here. We hail from Torquay, so we're all Torquay boys. We all live within the area, and there's only three of us. So you've got me, who obviously plays drums, Johnny Finnis, who's our bassist, and Dan Steer, who you can't really pinpoint what Dan does. He is the front man. He's either playing guitar one moment, piano, or just nothing and just strutting around the stage. But Dan's the front man. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I'm pleased to hear that you're all Torquay boys for a start.
Yeah.
That's good news. So what's your music genre? What do you play? What can we expect to hear?
Alternative. Now, this is a question we get asked a lot, and in the 3.5 years, we've never been able to answer it. But I would say alternative rock. So that covers anything from sort of like electro rock to pop, anything that can be quite heavy.
Yes.
It's all solely based around rock music, but we sort of go off on little tangents. But
Excellent.
yeah,
No.
if anyone's into their rock, they'll probably find something in the set they like.
I think the intention of having you here is so that you take the roof off the place. Not that there is a roof, but really get it going and rocking.
We'll
So
certainly do that,
that's
yeah.
good. So what about musical influences?
It seriously ranges in this band, considering there's only three of us. I was originally, with my background and sort of my family and stuff, my dad was heavily into all his sort of punk in the sort of late 70s, early 80s, that era. So naturally as a child, like growing up, all I had to play was my old man's old vinyls and
Yes.
stuff. So I was growing up listening to like the Pistols, Clash, stuff like that. But that's gone on to, I don't know, absolutely anything, like absolutely
Yeah.
anything. But it's I think it's the same for Dan and John as well. John's primarily more based around sort of the pop, funk, like Jamiroquai is like his
Yes.
god. That's it.
Yeah.
And Dan's a huge sort of Muse, Killers fan. So we're all kind of around the same genre.
Yeah,
Just,
that's good. So you've got
cover a lot.
quite a lot to thank your dad for, really, because
Yes.
you know that musical education will leave you in good stead,
That
I'm
was it,
sure.
yeah.
No, that's good. So tell me about where you've performed. You know, what's been the best performances, best experiences? I think I know the answer, but tell me.
I don't know. I think you could ask us that question 3-4 times a year, and it would change every time.
Yes.
We've just obviously the most recent thing we've done. We've just come off the back of West Coast tour of the States, and we were
Yes.
out there for a couple of weeks. So we started down in Phoenix, played a few shows up in LA, all the way up. All the way up, actually, just under Canada to Seattle. I think to me, the most memorable recent gig was Seattle. Just being in Seattle, and again, like you look at the bands who come from that one city, the likes of Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, stuff like that, and we were playing in a venue that kick-started all these bands' careers, and the venue was sold out. So that personal favourite recently, that was mine.
Yes.
But we talked to the likes of we did a gig with Bon Jovi down in the
Yes.
San Siro Stadium in Milan.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that was, I would say that was a mind-blowing gig. It really was, but it was a mind-blowing weekend, because after that gig, we literally had to drive straight back from Milan to Glastonbury in overnight, and then we were playing in Glastonbury Festival the next day, and then that was a wild show as well.
Yes.
So we've had a few. Russia and India, actually. Russia, all the places I never thought that we'd sort of take to our music, have taken to it more. You know, places like Russia and India, they go mad for it.
That's fantastic. And what sort of crowds have you been pulling in these other places?
So in the States, considering we've played the States, not okay, we've played Europe a hell of a lot more than we've
Yes.
really played. You could say parts of our own sort of island and the States, but in the States we were pulling sort of between 400 to 500 capacity people. We're playing 400 or 500 capacity venues, and every night bar two they were sold out. But then that can change. Like we've just done a tour, and bear in mind that was with 5 other bands or 3 other bands, and a solo artist. But when we go down to Europe and play, because we've gone there so many more times, and obviously with the likes of the Bon Jovi gig, the Woodstock and stuff
Yes.
like that, we've got a bigger catchment. So we did a 2, maybe 3-week tour. I think it was towards the end of last year. It was cold enough that I remember
Yes.
it being towards the end of last year. And we were selling out venues again, you know.
Fantastic.
Probably only 300 to 400 capacity venues, something like that. But we're a long way from home, being just 3 Torquay boys. So it's good to pull in that amount of people.
Yeah. So let's bring it a little bit nearer to home then. As you say, 3 Torquay boys playing at, you know, the home of English football.
That's
you
it.
know, Torquay United playing more.
Yeah.
What does Yellowfest mean for you?
For us, I think it encompasses everything that is good about where we live, which is why we're in no hurry to go spreading our wings and moving away. I mean, obviously, I grew up wanting to play on this pitch. Then I had a small part of my early playing career where I got to play on the pitch a few times, and now coming back, but as a musician, it's completely, you know, backward thinking for me. I always thought I was going to be a footballer, as every kid wanted to be, and now I'm going to be sat on stage playing drums. But again, it's local people, and it's like the community in Playmore as well. You couldn't beat it. You know, it's everyone knows everyone, and they all know somebody else, and it's just like this small little network tucked away in Torquay, that to be in the home of Torquay as well, the home of football, it's going to be a great gig. And the bands that you've got coming, you know, you've got international acts and you've got local acts.
Yeah, I'm going to come on to that, but you in your answer, you've obviously indicated you'd love to have been a professional footballer. So professional footballer versus rock star?
I feel like I'm going through a midlife crisis already. I grew up playing football. I think my highest point was when I got to about 15, 16, and I was actually playing for Torquay, but the Centre of Excellence they used to have.
Yes.
And that was great. And then things started to go really well, and then I broke my ankle. And in that time out, I was always playing drums as well, but only in the bedroom, you know.
Yes.
But in that time of not being able to kick a football, but being able to hold a set of sticks, I think the weight ratio just changed, and I think I discovered girlfriends and stuff like that at that sort of age, and then I went off on that direction, you know. But I still do 5-a-side football, and I'm still telling myself one day I'll get back into 11-a-side, but I haven't got the legs for it anymore.
In case it crops up, pre-season trials will probably start in June, so if you're around,
you know,
come back and see us. You mentioned the bill, you know, obviously referring to 10cc and Squeeze. How does it feel to be playing with these guys? Great.
More so the fact that they're coming down to Torquay. It's not often we get bands come down to this little town of ours. So to get them down into, you know, sort of place where we're proud of, we grew up here, we're proud of this place. I don't know, it feels a bit different to sort of sharing it. Like when you play with other bands on any other festival, you're all just kind of there and you're doing your bit. But I don't know, we feel proud about this. This is where we come from, you know, so we all want to put on a good impression and be extra nice to them and stuff like that. But it'd be great.
Good. Okay, nearly finished, but what's happening with these raining days at the moment? Have you got any new records out? What does the future hold?
We had a record come out recently called Thrones. I guess technically that's our latest release. And it wasn't a forced release or rushed release, but the track got picked up to be used by FIFA for their Goals of the Week competitions and stuff like that. So it kind of forced our hand. We needed to get the track out there while, you know, it was getting a lot of plays on the internet. So we basically rushed through a video. It was just like a lyric video. And that was kind of really the latest release, but we're going back into the studio. I guess now Dan's locking himself away at home, writing, sending us demos. We're sending him back ideas, and we're hoping really we can sort of keep, even if it's only for a spell of like a month or two, we can keep a 2-month period fairly quiet so we can get into the studio, carry on recording. We've already started on the next album.
Brilliant.
We want to try and get it finished up. There's a few things coming up towards the end of the year that I've got to keep my mouth zipped about. But it's all exciting. There's a lot of good things happening at the moment. But yeah, I think we've had a good run. We've had a good 3 years of constantly gigging, touring. So it's nice to take a bit of a break to write the next album or record the next album so that we can kickstart again. But yeah, towards the end of the year, we've got some big things coming up.
Great. Joe, we wish you the very best with all of that. But of course, before that, we look forward to hearing you on the 9th at Yellowfest. And again, thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you. I'll bring my boots.
Good stuff.